Hello, world.
And we're locked in. Myself, Max Van Auken, on the road right now, Los Angeles, calling into the Locked In studio to Dave the Wave. How are you doing?
Doing good, my man. It's crazy that you're on the road and I'm here in the building. Usually it's the opposite, but hey, we make the world go round.
We're locked in everywhere we go. So basically, I could be on the road. We're not here to take part. We're here to take over, Dave. Everywhere we go, we're locked in.
That is very true. And gosh, Cuzzo, the Locked In movement is just rolling. I love it. Thank you, everyone that's listening, downloading, subscribing on all podcast platforms. Thank you. Keep passing the word. Tell a friend, tell a neighbor. Let's get locked in.
Yeah, 5 stars. But to start off this NBA episode, Dave, I just want to say, how about them Cavaliers? How great are they? 0-6. They just fired Ty Lue. They're doing great, aren't they?
Wait, that's the same exact team that was in the NBA Finals. They had a really good draft pick in Colin Sexton. He's a good young defender, young passer. Did they lose anyone, Max? Did they lose a player?
They only lost one player. You know, this was a team that went to the finals, so how much can only one player truly mean to a whole team? I don't know. I think
this team went to the finals, and now they fire their coach and have not won a game. That one player, Max, he must be like from Space Jam. He might be one of those aliens that is the greatest basketball player ever. Am I right? Am I onto something?
Could not agree with you more. That name is King James, LeBron James, guys. If he isn't the MVP, like what kind of evidence do they need more, Dave? It's like this team literally went to the finals last year. Now they can't win a game. They're 6 games in, already dysfunctional again, firing their head coach. This is what LeBron James does, and we still don't give him the MVP award? It's ridiculous.
It's a Travis Sham mockery.
They really are bad, Dave. They really are. It's incredible to see how much of an impact LeBron James has on a team, especially my Lakers going to the playoffs. That's right. I said it. They're going to the playoffs. How do you feel about that one?
All right, Cuzzo, let's talk about it. The Lakers will go to the postseason. They do have LeBron James. They have a lot of young talent on this team. They got some good older role players, but let's talk about this. They are 2-5? 2-4? What are they, Cuzzo?
Yeah, they lost again to the San Antonio Spurs. That's twice they lost to the Spurs. They've lost a couple tough games, obviously, to Houston. They also lost to the Trailblazers opening night. So they've had some tough losses, but I like what I see. And of course, I'm a little biased. I like LeBron James, obviously like the Lakers. But I like what I see as far as the young athletic talent who defends. And I knew shooting going in was going to be an issue, but I like what I see. The only thing that I'm really not concerned about, but I want to see more of, is Brandon Ingram. And obviously he was suspended. I understand that. But he wasn't coming off to the best start. And I want to see Brandon Ingram, when he comes back, really flourish. He needs to be that right-hand man. He needs to make it clear to everybody.
Absolutely. I said it before the season. We talked to Yoda himself, Rashad Phillips, about it. I am a pro Brandon Ingram from Duke, the second pick of the NBA draft. I think he will become an all-star. So he needs to step up and play on an all-star type of level. He needs to be Klay Thompson to Steph Curry. He needs to be Scottie Pippen to a Michael Jordan. That's what I think. I think he needs to be an all-star, all-NBA type of player. That's one.
Yeah.
The rest of the team is what I'm worried about. I think Ingram will be okay. The suspension, let me just talk about that real quick, the whole fight with Rondo, the Rockets, and Ingram kind of coming back, throwing that punch. It's like, I love that. I love that brotherhood, that team building. It's us against the world. So there's a lot of that I like about Brandon Ingram, but you can't throw a punch. You just can't. It's a young team. You need to build together. You have to, play with LeBron James a lot. You can't throw a punch. You can't get suspended 4 games in the season. It's the West. Every game matters. Every win matters. You can't miss time. That's one thing about the fight. The second thing about the fight, we will talk about it, and I know you don't want me to go here, but I'm going here. Rondo gets into a fight. LeBron James is kind of behind Chris Paul. He kind of breaks it up. Brandon Ingram runs from half court and throws a punch. There's another player on the court who just barely walks to the scrummish, barely nods his head in a negative way, and that man is named Lonzo Ball. He's a good basketball player. He can pass, Max. He can rebound for a big. He's athletic. He's a good NBA player. Zero. Absolute zero dog in him. Zero Kobe Bryant Black Mama in him. He's got nothing. He's got no grit whatsoever. All right. That was my spiel, Max. Take it away.
Okay, thank God. I couldn't sit over here any longer. I was almost going to run over to the studio. Okay, there's a couple things. First off, I think LeBron actually likes what Brandon Ingram did. And you're like, really, Max? That's crazy. He's suspended. But if you think about what he did and what Rondo and LeBron have instilled in this locker room is toughness. And I think he likes that he did that because he knows going against the Golden State Warriors, which we all agree they won't beat this year, but if they get an Anthony Davis or a Kawhi Leonard or a Klay Thompson, they have a shot at beating the Warriors. You're not going to outshoot the Warriors. You have to be physical. You have to be tough like the Cavaliers did in 2016 against the Warriors. And what this Lakers scramble does is show toughness. It shows grit. Now, yeah, could he have handled it a little better than going across half court with a 7'3" wingspan and throw a punch? Yeah, but I still like that he was tough and he didn't back down. Now, for this Lonzo Ball thing, I can't believe I have to keep defending him against you here, Dave. Lonzo Ball, to me, has shown me so many things already that I am so fond about. And we've mentioned Rashad Phillips, and he loves him too. Now, you can argue if he's going to be an all-star. Like, you can make that argument. You obviously don't think so. I think he has a chance, especially if he stays with this franchise, with the Lakers organization, with LeBron James. If they win a title, he'll get votes. But he's added 10 pounds of muscle, which helps his defensive ability on the wing and down low. And you see he's full court guarding people, ripping people. He's playing good defense, Dave. He really is. Length, athleticism, and size now. And what I also like about him, yes, will he be inconsistent? Of course, a lot of rookies are. I mean, a lot of second-year players are. There's a lot of people who still can't shoot. Look at Ben Simmons. Look at Giannis. But he's hitting more threes on a consistent level. So not only is he an extraordinary passer with great vision, elevates others, he's a good defender, he's athletic, and he's long, a 6'6" point guard, and now he's shooting, and he's shooting pretty consistently. And yeah, of course, like I said, he'll have a couple bad games here and there, but I love what Lonzo Ball is doing, and he's the clear starter to me, clear 100% starter for the Lakers and the point guard of the future.
Okay. A lot being said there. He's definitely, I think, the point guard of this year. I like him better than Rondo with this team. So I'll give you that. Point guard of the future, I'm really not sure of. I thought about it more and more. They're going to need players. I thought maybe they just needed AD or maybe they just needed Klay. I think they need multiple top-end players, and maybe one of those players is a Damian Lillard coming around. Maybe it could be another point guard that we're not thinking of right now who somehow gets loose from a team, and that becomes Lonzo Ball becomes a sixth or seventh man, or not even that. He becomes traded to another roster. But
what I like, I'm sorry, keep going.
Last thing on that was just with Lonzo Ball. You said two names about a second-year player. You said Ben Simmons, and then you also mentioned Giannis. Those two players have the most athletic, God-gifted abilities, maybe in the whole league. Ben Simmons, 6'10", can pass, run, throw, just uber athletic. And then, of course, Giannis is probably the Russell Westbrook with 6'11", like his freak athletic ability is just out of this world, and that's why he is a top 5 player, top 8 player in the world. The Bucks are playing great. They're one of the top Eastern teams in the whole East. They're a top 3 seed right now. So to mention Lonzo with those two guys, I just disagree with, if I can throw that out there.
They were just examples because of how great they are that they still can't shoot. But what I'm trying to say is even if you look at the NBA free agency, you want players that are going to be able to blend well with others. Lonzo Ball's numbers are right on par with Jason Kidd, and Jason Kidd obviously plays well with stars. And I think that's what they want from Lonzo. If you look at the people they may get, Dave, it's an Anthony Davis, it's a Klay Thompson, it's a Kawhi Leonard. Damian Lillard, yeah, but I honestly, if I'd rather keep Lonzo and get those other stars, I will definitely do that because he will be perfect to gel everybody else with LeBron because he's not ball dominant. He doesn't want the ball as much, and he can still be effective with just a couple touch passes. If you get another star point guard, it can ruin the whole flow, momentum, and chemistry with the rest of the young roster. Like Josh Hart, absolutely love Josh Hart and what he's doing. He has a much higher ceiling than I thought he would. And I love what Kuzma's doing. This whole roster is blending well together, and it's still early. So, of course, they're not 100%, but keeping Lonzo will help attract other free agents.
Could be. And you just mentioned Josh Hart. Can we talk about that out there? We talk about it behind the scenes. We're in front of it. You got a mic in your hand. Let's talk about it. You said a word, and it triggered me, and you and I went at it. We almost got into fistabows. I had to go to Pete White's gym to release the stress. That's how much you got me into this. You said the word amazing. Can you recall that phrase back?
No, because there's different standards of amazing for different people. His standard for amazing is playing the way he is right now. LeBron, that's not LeBron's standard of amazing. We've said many role players have played amazing. We've definitely done that before with Kyle Korver, with Mike Miller. When he was hitting threes, he played amazing when he was in the finals hitting threes. But if he was doing that and he was LeBron James, we wouldn't say he's amazing. So for what my expectations are for Josh Hart, he's been playing amazing. Those expectations aren't the same expectations I have for LeBron James, for Kevin Durant, for Stephen Curry. I have different expectations for each people.
I kind of want to go three different ways. I guess the best way I will go is he's playing really well. He's playing good. He's a good role player. He should not be in a starting lineup for a Western Conference playoff team. I think.
Oh my God, get out of here.
He's the 89th best player in the world, which is great. I'm happy for him. He was a good draft pick for the Lakers. All that agree, yes. But him to be a starter on a playoff team, I think that's bad. That's bad news for the Lakers. He should be a really good 6th or 7th player, your 2nd or 3rd player off the bench, play 22 minutes, spark up the team, make some shots. But to be a starter, that's not good. You think Josh Hart's going to defeat the Warriors? Come on, man. Come on now.
Can you tell me the starting lineup for the Jazz besides Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert?
Ingles.
You think Ingles is a great guy?
He's amazing.
I'll accept that one. No, but come on, Dave. Josh Hart is I'm not saying he's like the future of the Lakers, but having somebody who you thought was just an ordinary guy from Villanova, his ceiling was probably 10, maybe 12 points per game. He's not only expanded his offensive skills, he's much better defensively than I thought he would be. Like, he's much stronger than I thought he would be. I love his mentality. When he won the Summer League MVP, he's not worried about individual awards. He just wants to make the team better. And he's one of those guys that I'm not so impressed with, like, oh, his numbers are amazing, even though they are much better than what I thought they would be. It's how he affects the rest of his players and how other players like playing with him. You can certainly tell everybody loves playing with him. He'll dive on the floor. He's good defensively. He can hit the three. When much of the Lakers rosters really can't hit that many threes, you need somebody who can consistently hit the three ball, and that's Josh Hart.
Yeah, I agree. That's good. That's a good role player. That's a good guy to have on your roster. Injuries, it's a long season, suspensions. You got knuckleheads on your team who wants to fight people for a living. But to be a 35-minute starter, and then you just said it, the Jazz. Good point, Max. Max, do you think the Jazz have any shot at beating the Warriors this year for the finals?
Is LeBron James on that team?
No, he's not.
Well, then no.
But LeBron James was on the Cavs with for the last 2 years, and they didn't have a logistic shot.
Different roster.
We love LeBron. He needs more help. That's my statement, I guess. I think that's the root of this conversation. Lonzo's playing good. Josh Hart is better than what people thought. He's a higher pick. He should have been higher. He should have been like a top 15, top 12 pick. But with that being said, they need more.
Yeah, going into the season, I wasn't saying this team is going to beat the Golden State Warriors. This is like a season to develop your young players and see who's going to step up, who plays well with LeBron James, who folds, and who welcomes the bright lights. I, by all means, don't think this roster beats the Golden State Warriors, but this roster you can still learn a lot from to help move forward. So getting a free agent, you see who you should keep and who you shouldn't get rid of, especially the trading deadline coming up. Who knows who's willing to come and go? You want to know who is willing to stay and who you want to build for the long run. So I agree. The Lakers definitely need more help, 100%.
Okay, sounds good.
Now is my turn, Dave the Wave, I'm tired of the media, of the public, of Dave the Wave. I don't know what the word is, praising this guy, but I'm sick of it because I called it in the beginning of the season, and I said Russell Westbrook will still be a top 10 player in the world. He's still an amazing basketball player. But there's things that I wanted to point out, and they're starting to come to fruition. And I'm not being hyperbolic because I know it's the beginning of the season, but it's definitely helping my argument here. The way he plays is like a running quarterback. It's like Allen Iverson. It's like Dwayne Wade. You fall, you get up. You fall, you get up. All gas, no brakes, and that wears you down. You already see Westbrook fading in fourth quarters in playoff series against the Jazz led by a rookie. Now you see it. The beginning of this year, he's getting older. He missed the first couple of games with a knee surgery. Then he comes back and he goes 5 for 20 and doesn't score in the fourth quarter, and yet people still want to defend this man. He is still a great basketball player, Dave, but he is showing signs of fatigue. And like I said, this will be the year you really start to see him fatiguing, and he will not age gracefully like you see a lot of other players.
That was his second game. Do you know what he got his first game back?
What was it?
32, 14, and 8.
And did they win, Dave?
No, they didn't win. But hey, man, we've seen the Thunder. It's hard. We're seeing the Lakers. We're seeing the Cavs.
The Lakers already won.
It's hard, man. The Cavs are 0-6. There was a finals team, and they don't have a win. It's early, though. Come on. It is early in the season, right? It's no reason to panic.
Dave, you just compared Russell Westbrook to the Cavaliers. Wait. You just compared Russell Westbrook and Paul George to the Cavaliers led by Kevin Love and Tristan Thompson and J.R. Smith. Dave, when these expectations are Mr. Triple-Double, this guy is a top 5 player in the world, you have to have at least one win by now. Will they make the playoffs? Most likely. But this is just adding to my argument of he's starting to show his age. He's going to definitely age quickly, and it's not going to hit him gracefully because he's not a great three-point shooter. He takes a lot of high-volume shots. And in a game of 2018, you have to be able to hit three-point shots. So he's going to continue to attack the rim, and his body, his joints will just continue to deteriorate.
That's a good point. It is 2018. You have to make three-pointers. So absolutely locked in. Excellent point by you. Definitely give it. But it's 2018, and I think we've been seeing this with LeBron James and Tom Brady. People take care of their bodies better and longer. It's more technology. I think more people are more in tune with their bodies. They're eating kale milkshakes. They're doing whatever it takes to stay on the floor longer. So Russell needs to evolve. He needs to become a 38% three-point shooter. He needs to look. He needs to pass the ball a little bit more, get Steven Adams 3-4 more shots, get Paul George. Paul George should shoot probably the most shots on this Oklahoma City Thunder team for it to take that next level. I think they are a 3 or 4 or 5 seed in the Western Conference playoffs. But that being said, he needs to stay healthy. It's 2018. Make sure you stay in tune with your body, get your knees right. And I think Russell Westbrook's got plenty of years. I think he's got 2, 3, 4 years of high-level basketball, triple-double level basketball.
I think he was drafted in 2008. That was by the Seattle Supersonics.
Ain't that crazy?
2018, he's in year 10 of his NBA career, and you're telling him to evolve. If you can't evolve by year 10, why would I think that he's going to evolve now? He's lacked self-awareness up to this point. We've seen players like Carmelo Anthony who need to evolve and have a little more self-awareness, and they just don't do it. Once you're set in your ways and you have your habits, I'm sure he takes a great care of his body. Like those kale milkshakes you're talking about, I'm sure they're delicious. I'm sure he loves them. But I don't think he has the self-awareness, and I don't think that's something that's just going to click today and say, you know what, the past 10 years I've played, I've been doing it wrong, because he's shown no signs of doing that. And it's just like you said, it's 2018. I think he'll still put up good numbers because it's an offensive-minded league. But like I said, this year, you'll start to see it, Dave. You'll start to see it, and then next year it's going to be even worse. It's going to be double that. But like you said, he's with Paul George. I think he should take some more shots. They're definitely a playoff team.
And real quick, I like that point a lot about him needing to evolve and 10 years in self-awareness. A great point again. But you mentioned Carmelo Anthony. And one thing Westbrook has that Melo to me never had is what I put against Lonzo Ball is that dog, that fight, that uber aggressive, do everything it takes to win. And I love that about Westbrook. He'll do whatever it takes to win. He'll put the team on his back. He'll go, he needs to get 14 dimes. He'll put 14 dimes. He needs to dunk on the center. He'll get the dunk on the center. He needs to get 16 rebounds. He'll get 16 rebounds. Melo was always kind of complacent. He was just never a great, defender, never really hustled for the loose ball. And that's not a problem to Russell Westbrook. Max, you can say a lot of bad or negative things towards Russell, and some of it he does deserve. But one thing I think you would even say, that man's got grit, that man's got fight, that man's got dog.
Oh, 100% he has dog, but that's going to be his curse in disguise in a way. It's not a blessing in disguise, it's a curse, because he doesn't know how to turn it off or maintain it a little bit. You don't always have to snap. Sometimes you could just growl and show your teeth. That's all you need to do to win games. You don't have to bite down on every single game, because then you start to fatigue, like we saw in the Utah Jazz series. We both saw it. He fatigued. LeBron James, I don't even think has as much dog as Russell Westbrook. He has it on occasion and when he needs to, but he knows how to pace himself, because these games right now in October, they don't matter as much as they do in the playoffs. So I think that's just something that will hurt him at the end of the day.
Okay. Hey, we'll definitely keep our eyes on this one. We'll definitely go to the community. We will talk to everyone. We will have so many big guests coming in the future. Russell Westbrook will be an ongoing statement, issue, development for the Locked In podcast.
Yeah, and by the way, guys, this podcast is available on all podcast platforms. Like you said in the beginning of the episode, Dave, the movement is real. The numbers are groundbreaking, and they keep going up. So please keep clicking that subscribe, that download button. It's Locked In with 2 N's on all podcast platforms. That's iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher Radio, Apple Podcast. And all this is brought to you by Pep-Boys, right, Dave?
Yes, sir. Pep-Boys, Daytona Beach International Speedway. Our main man, Richie. Go see him. Make sure you say Locked In Podcast. He'll give you a great deal regardless. So definitely go in. But if you want a better deal, you want a free Snickers bar or free car for your son, tell him the Locked In Podcast sent you. All right?
There you go. All right, Dave. So we talked about Lonzo Ball and the Lakers. I didn't even say LeBron James there. And then we talked about Russell Westbrook and the Thunder. Is there another team that sticks out to you?
Yes. We talked about 2 West Coast teams. Because we live in Daytona Beach, Florida. We go to island fights in Pensacola Beach, Florida. I want to keep it in the East Coast. Let's bring it back east. How about the Toronto Raptors 6-0, Milwaukee Bucks 6-0, Blake Griffin and the Detroit Pistons 4-1. Can we talk about these surprising teams? That's 12, 16-1. With the Bucks, the Raptors, and the Pistons. Cuzzo, what team out of those 3 do you love? What team do you like? What team do you hate? Or do you like all 3?
Okay. Well, there's a couple things there. First is I think the East is more interesting than it's ever been because LeBron James is out of the East. He got off his throne, and now he has another throne in the Western Conference. So the East is really up for grabs, although the Celtics are the favorite. You start to see all these young rising teams emerge. And I do like the Bucks because Giannis is the best player in the East right now, I would say. And then I like the Raptors because what Kawhi Leonard is doing with that squad is really special. But there's something I will hate on a little bit, and that's the Pistons. I'm not a Blake Griffin guy. I really never have been. Of course, a 50-point game is something to be congratulated about. But I don't think this Pistons team is going to be a team that you have to look out for in the playoffs. And I think a couple people are a little hyperbolic about it because they are, you said, undefeated, right?
No, they just lost to Boston. They are 4-1. But a great record in the East.
Off to a good start.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, off to a good start. I don't think this is going to be a team that makes a deep playoff run. And I'll say another thing. I'm not trying to hate on or rain on the parade of Giannis, but I'm not impressed with this Bucks team as far as translating it to playoff wins. I think they may go to like a round 2. Maybe an Eastern Conference Finals, depending on what the matchups are. But I don't see them going past a Philly or a Boston, or in that case, for even a Toronto, because I just don't think they're deep enough, Dave. Giannis is talented, but you need, like you said, you need more help, and I don't think he has enough of it.
Okay. No, a lot that you said I liked a lot. One, I'm going to kind of praise first. Toronto Raptors are for real. People call them the baby dinosaur, especially with LeBron there. Guys, they are 6-0. They've had this nucleus. There's 7, 8 players that came back from this last year and the year before, and all they did was switch out DeMar DeRozan, who's a B plus player, to Kawhi Leonard, who's playing like an A plus player. He is right now. We can talk about the MVP, in the future. His numbers are just not groundbreaking numbers, but I can argue that he is the MVP of this league. They're 6-0. He made the huge transition from the Spurs to the Raptors, this big trade that people did not think that was going to happen, and he's playing lights out. And you ready for this? This is the most underrated part about basketball. He's playing lights out defense. It's 50-50, guys. You're on the court. Half the time you're on the court on offense, half the time you're on the court on defense. It drives me crazy that we can give MVPs to like Harden and Russell Westbrook, who are great NBA players that are playing offensively. They're passing, they're scoring, they're shooting. They are not playing the caliber of defense that a LeBron James did in his prime or a Kawhi Leonard that is playing now. Basketball is 50-50. You're on the court, offense and defense, and I don't think Kawhi Leonard and the Raptors are getting the love they deserve.
Wow. You make a legitimate point, not only because he's going to the new transition Raptors, but I think the reason why he'll be a serious MVP candidate is because he's a free agency next year. And after all the drama we had in San Antonio with him and Pop, I think now more than ever, especially after the injury, he has to prove his stock. Before, everybody was in love with Kawhi, and they were saying, wow, he's definitely a top 5 player. Will he challenge LeBron James or Kevin Durant for that 1, 2, or 3 spot? And then all of a sudden, everybody jumped off the bandwagon because of everything that went on in San Antonio. And once again, he has to prove his stock. And like you said, not only are they undefeated, he had a no-look steal. I don't think I've ever seen that before in my life.
No, that was pretty epic. That was such a like a safety or a corner does in football. It's like you see the wide receiver put his hands up to get a touchdown or a catch, but then the defender blocks it. That was cool. That was definitely maybe one of the underrated plays of the year. All right, so that's my Raptor spiel. Let me go to the Bucks. And I think maybe you missed something, and hey, maybe if I'll say it, you might, hey, Dave, good point, or maybe you'll disagree with me completely. You talked about their depth. Was that correct?
Yeah, I don't think they have enough help as far as like stars to defeat these type of teams like Boston and 76ers. And
I agree. I was going to say their depth is really good. They have a lot of C+, B- players like Middleton, Bledsoe, Brogdon. They have Henson. They have Brook Lopez is on the roster. I don't know if a lot of people know that. He's been playing really well at the starting center spot for him. They have a lot of players. You're right. They don't have another all-star. And I do agree with you, but Giannis is right now playing at another level. He's playing at an all-NBA forward level. Durant? LeBron? We got to talk about Giannis in this small forward, power forward level, who's playing the best in the world. We just mentioned Kawhi. Giannis is rebounding around 16, 15 rebounds a game. He's something special, Cuzzo. He is a locked-in type of player.
He really is, because not only does he have that God-gifted athleticism, and he's 6'11", with that wingspan, and he can jump out of the gym, but he has the mentality of someone who will improve because he trained with Kobe Bryant. I think I saw an article saying he got there 3 hours before he was supposed to be there. Like, he has that type of mentality to keep improving and to keep elevating. But like I said, with teams like Boston, all right, I'm just going to name off a couple. You have Jason Tatum, Kyrie Irving, Gordon Hayward, Jaylen Brown, Al Horford, Terry Rozier, Morris. Like, the list just keeps going on, and that's just one player can definitely have an impact on that game and maybe win a couple games, but over a course of a 7-game series won't top Boston. Then you go to Philly. I love Ben Simmons. I know you do too. I believe he's the next best player in the world. Now, you could say Giannis is better than him now, but then you add Joel Embiid to that mix, and he's even more dominant than Ben, some would argue. And then you add Covington, and then you got Redick, the shooter. And like you just said, Toronto. You have Kawhi Leonard, but people forget Lowry is still in Toronto. So on top of a deep team, you still have another former All-Star. Giannis can be an MVP candidate in that small forward position. It's really hard with LeBron, Durant, Kawhi Leonard, and Giannis. It's the most stacked position to get enough attention.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's enough, Dave, to overcome the depth of all the other teams with stars.
Cuzzo, you're probably locked in like always. I love it. One thing that you and I can do probably better than anyone in this whole entire world is brag about how amazing that we are. But I got to be transparent here. We picked a team that you and I both thought before the season was in the top 10 of the NBA. So when we nail something, we're going to tell you that we nailed it, and I'm just going to be upfront. I missed something. I think you did too. We both thought the Washington Wizards were going to have a bounce-back season. Dwight was going to help down low. They have Beal. They got John Wall. They know they had a really disappointing season last year. God, because they're 1-4. They can't get out of their way. We messed up. Can we just say that we're sorry to the locked-in community and move past it? Can we just apologize?
Yes, I am sorry, but there's a little caveat. It still is early. So let's just see where they click. But I will say this. John Wall is not the best teammate, in my opinion, and I don't necessarily think he elevates others. He has great stats. He'll put up 11 assists, but I don't think he elevates others, and I think that's something people confuse. There's a difference between 11 assists, and there's a difference between 11 assists where you elevate other people, and I don't think he elevates other people, and I don't think him and Bradley Beal really blend well, and then you add someone like Dwight Howard to the locker room, and someone who he probably will be a Hall of Famer, but we all know he's kind of I hate to say it, but like a cancer to the locker room in a way where it just adds tension and turmoil. And you blend all three of those together, and it's just not a good recipe for success. So for that, I will apologize, locked-in community. We were wrong.
All right, here we go. Let's just go back to the West Coast real quick. We definitely nailed the East. We definitely talked about the Lakers, so we don't have to bring them back up. One thing I just kind of want to throw out there, which is crazy, and I know it's super early, but we're 5 to 7 games in. The Warriors, of course, the 1 seed. Denver, one of our locked-in young teams, are in the 2 seed. But right now, if the playoffs ended today, and they won't, we got the Lakers, we have the Rockets, we have the Thunder, and even the Timberwolves. But some people with Butler maybe think the Timberwolves are a mess. But you think the Thunder, Rockets, and Lakers are all going to make the playoffs, right?
Yeah, 100%.
All 3 of those teams are out of the playoffs right now, which is just like, wow. And, people can say it's early, but, we're 7 games into with some of these teams. We're that's 1/12th, 1/14th. We're getting there, and if they don't turn around quick, you can't go that far back, especially in the West. If you're in the East, you could. In the West, you can't. You got to start winning games now.
Yeah, but I will say this. It's not that I'm necessarily disagreeing with you, but when you have a lot of young, hopeful teams, of course you're going to sprint in that first lap of the marathon. Of course you are, because first of all, you're so excited for a fresh beginning, but it's your clean slate. Everyone start at the same spot, chance to win the race. But once the season really starts to develop and blossom, you'll see the talent rise over the other people, and that's when you'll start to see the Rockets in the playoffs. The Lakers will squeeze in there. Russell Westbrook, as much as I criticize him, will take over some games. And we'll see the players and the teams that we think will make the playoffs still make it, in my opinion.
Okay. I have one last question for you.
All right.
Can the Golden State Warriors win 75 games?
Well, the record's 73-9, so the key would be to win 74.
I thought 75 was a good number. A nice little round number. You don't like that?
Oh, I think they should try to go for 82. Obviously, that can't happen now, but I think the Warriors can absolutely do it. But will they do it? I don't think so, because I think they're just having fun. I think that when they lost the 73-9 season to the greatest player of all time, who came back from 3-1 with the best defensive play in the finals history, that they will never do that again. And I think they just know the regular season is for fun and chemistry. Adding a DeMarcus Cousins, who we all agree with can be a knucklehead, is just their main priority. Is to have fun, let the tensions go, blend DeMarcus Cousins into this locker room, eventually on the court, and then win the championship when it matters and play your best, and probably end up sweeping the playoffs. Who knows? But no, I don't think they'll go for it, but they absolutely could if they did.
Okay, there you go. That was my last question. Do you got anything else, or do you want to wrap it up, or you got 8 more questions for me?
All right, I do have a question because I already have my opinion on it. I do want to see where your head is at. Stephen Curry is obviously playing on an MVP level. He's hitting threes like it's nobody's business, as always. Already dropped a 50-point game. Is it possible he wins an MVP award? Not maybe this year, but in the future, given all these All-Stars stay on one team.
So this is saying that Durant stays in Golden State moving forward. Is that correct?
Yeah, and does he have a realistic shot at winning it this year? Because we all know people's they don't like the Golden State Warriors, Dave. They think they cheated, and whether we agree with them or not,
Correct.
that's what the public views it. So,
Correct.
What's your opinion on it?
Okay, good question, Cuzzo. My opinion is definitely yes, he can. He could win an MVP this season or an MVP in the future. He's young enough, he's good enough, he's skilled enough, he can shoot the lights out, and that's not going away anytime soon. You never know. There could be an injury to Durant. One of these players could leave, like maybe Durant stays and Draymond stays, but Clay does go to the Lakers, so that could open up the door for more shots for Curry or more just MVP voters. So, yeah, he has a shot. And then in closing, if they win 70, 72, 74, 75 games, and he's the catalyst and he's kind of having that, some years you just shoot better than others. He's off to a great start. He's off to a great scoring start. So if he averages around 28, 29 points a game and they win 74 games, and guys like Kawhi and Giannis, they kind of pull back. Kawhi gets a nagging hamstring injury. He misses 10 games. The Bucks are the 3 seed. There's not like a clear-cut number 1 player. And maybe like a team like Boston or Philly does get the 1 seed. But even Boston, it's Kyrie, it's Tatum, it's Brown, it's Horford, it's Hayward. There's so many stud players. Curry has a legitimate shot, Cuzzo. 74 wins, 29 points a game. The MVP could be his.
People despise the Golden State Warriors, and barring injury, although he may deserve it, I don't think he wins another one, Dave. And just because of the fact of there's so many All-Stars on that team, it's hard to say he's the most valuable player in the league when you have someone like Giannis on the Bucks, when you have Kawhi Leonard on Toronto, when you have a guy like LeBron James that's going to a young team who didn't make the playoffs, who will ultimately make the playoffs. That's why I don't think he does. And he may deserve it, but I don't think he does because of the people he has around him.
Okay, Cuzzo. I got it locked in. I'm ready to get locked in. Are you?
Yes, sir. I'm always.
Okay. I don't think it's far-fetched, and I don't think the team, of course, went into this season thinking about it or going for it, especially with something about what Tristan Thompson said, how he said the East still goes through Cleveland. They did win the title, which is ridiculous. My locked in is I think Cleveland Cavs will have the worst record in the NBA, and halfway or 3/4 they will start to tank, and they will want this number 1 pick, a possibility of an R.J. Barrett from Duke or even a Zion Williams, who we talked about before, and we will talk again with the Yoda himself. I think Cleveland will go for the number 1 overall pick.
Wow, and you're not crazy. The Cavaliers are just awful. My locked in will be this year, after the season, there will be a new top 5 list. Like I put mine out there on my Instagram, and I said LeBron, Stephen Curry, KD. It was a great list, but I feel that it's going to change. And I think it's going to change because you're going to see some people fall out of the list, and you're going to see some young talent enter it. I won't announce who the young talent is, but it will change, Dave.
That sounds like a future podcast to me if I ever heard one.
Look at that. Just right on the fly, on air, guys. If you enjoy it, download it. Subscribe to it. Locked in with 2 N's. There's a space in between. And this is a great episode, Dave, like always.
Absolutely, guys. Hey, Island Fights 51. It's December 21st, Friday on UFC Fight Pass. You will see my face. You will see Max's good-looking face. We will be there live and in the building. There's already so many fights been announced, so many more. We will have future podcast interviews, live film. We'll just be all over Island Fights 51. That was my last plug of the night. Cuzzo, anything else?
Have a great night, great day, good morning, whatever you got. Whenever you're listening to it, have a good one. That's all I have to say, Dave.
Don't drink and drive.
And like always,
Stay
stay
locked in.
in.